So welcome to the 2018 Town Hall meeting. I'm Marie Warung from the Office of Organizational and Professional Development, and would like to welcome you here today. I'd also like to thank President Leebron for continuing to make his time available to us to speak at these annual events. We have a full agenda. We'll be awarding the Gillis Award, recognizing the Gillis Award winner, as well as recognizing the folks who celebrated service milestones in 2017. Then the President will speak about our vision and strategy and what our role as staff are in seeing those to fruition. So please, if you haven't, take a moment, silence your devices, sit back, relax, and help me welcome President Leebron.
Good morning. Okay, now I know you're all here. Anyway, what an enormous turnout. At the spring town hall, what we really do in significant part is celebrate the community that we are part of. And from what I have heard back over the last year, I think particularly starting with the hurricane, but not only that, but other things that we feel that we've been challenged as a community. And our care for every part of our community, whether it's our undocumented students and workers or people who may feel the environment is not all they had hoped for. But I think what, at the end of the day, draws people to Rice and keeps them here is that extraordinary sense of community. And I think very much reflected in this room. And I want to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us this morning and hear some things about what's going on. And I always do like to begin with our mission. I don't have the slide I've been using lately in some of my presentations. Maybe I should have brought it, which is a slide from the movie The Blues Brothers. How many of you have seen The Blues Brothers? So you know what my favorite line in The Blues Brothers is. And, you know, we're a secular institution, but it does feel like we're on a mission from God. And I think what we do in terms of education, research, and service, whether it's to our community here or around the world in places like Africa, South America, that really gives us this extraordinary sense of how we as a university can contribute to the betterment of lives around the world and opportunities for people here in Houston and around the country. And driving that is really our values. And I'm sure, as you all recall, the values were formulated so that I could remember them. Responsibility, integrity, community, and excellence. And I think this has been a year in which we've been called on to refer to those values and think about them more than any other year than I can remember. And whether it was our response to the hurricane or, again, our care for a whole range of people on our campus, they remain the touchstone, I think, of every action that we undertake. And our community, again, I've already mentioned Hurricane Harvey. Some of you may not know our student association recently undertook a really well thought out, careful process to think about speech on our campus, something that has roiled campuses across the country, and came out very strongly in favor of speech and against the notion that we disinvite speakers, for example, and yet at the same time spoke to concern that we have for members of our community and the care that we must exemplify when they feel that there are hurtful words or dialogue. But ultimately what they came out and said, we are an educational community and we have to be open to all ideas. We've established a new sexual harassment working group, not because we identified a problem, but because we wanted to make sure we were prepared and ahead of the curve and thinking not just about the past, but about the future as well. And then finally, as I mentioned before, our support for DACA and other undocumented immigrants. At the core of this is our people, and I am amazed every day by the outstanding quality of the people in our community and their commitment. We recognize that in particular with our Board of Trustees Award, Jim Bevan last year. Is Jim here? Jim is over there somewhere. Jim, an extraordinary coach, really exemplifies our efforts in athletics and the values we bring to athletics. Really has made such an impact on many women who come to our campus. September, we honored people from across the campus who stepped forward during the hurricane, without question, sometimes being separated from their families during moments of crisis. Bart Sinclair, is Bart here somewhere? Who's really served our School of Engineering in an extraordinary way. And Daniel Williamson of OpenStax, and I hope you all know about OpenStax. Is Daniel here anywhere? He's working. OpenStax, which has brought free textbooks to college students, community college students, even high school students, really across the country. And that is the great work that Daniel has done with his good degree from the Shepherd School of Music. He's turned himself into a techie and made an incredible impact on the world, which, don't interpret that wrongly, so do musicians make incredible impacts on the world. Each spring, we take a moment to honor somebody who has truly made an exceptional contribution, who represents what we as a community at Rice, in particular, what our extraordinary staff at Rice aspire to. It is named in honor of a truly extraordinary woman, the spouse of my predecessor, Malcolm Gillis, a great president of the university. This award recognizes a staff member for their outstanding achievements to the university. So please join me in welcoming Elizabeth Gillis.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, David. It's good to be here. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the Elizabeth Gillis Award, Phillipa Angelides. Phillipa Angelides has made a career at Rice, devoting over 31 years of service to Rice, and most specifically to the Student Center. She has contributed in many significant ways, from her first work as a secretary of the Student Association to her current broad responsibilities as Associate Director of the Student Center. Under her watch, Student Activities has found a way to support our student organizations as they have grown in number from 100 to over 300. She has guided student leadership and improved student facilities, and the organizations have prospered through her enthusiastic oversight. Dean of Undergraduates, Dr. John Hutchinson, said in her nomination letter, quote, "She is always willing to support new projects with a can-do attitude and a desire to positively impact Rice University and our campus and community. Her willingness to go above and beyond is core to who she is and how she operates. Her knowledge and willingness to go far beyond normal expectations have supported student leaders for decades as they created programs and developed the events that are the fabric of student life at Rice University. She is that integral to our work," end of quotes. Please join me in congratulating Phillipa Angelides.
Sure. It's heavy. All right. Well, congratulations. We're so grateful on behalf of our entire community, but most especially our students, for all you have done.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, did you want to say anything?
Just a few words.
Yes.
You want to leave it or take it? Oh, I'll leave it. I just
Okay.
want to say thank you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great. I just want to say how much I've appreciated working with everybody from the controller's office, payment solutions, cashier's office, all those people who helped me on the way and were so supportive. And now I'm working with an incredible team in the Student Center, and my director is Kate Abad, and she's always pushing us in the right direction. So I really appreciate to have those people around me, you know, whilst I'm working. So thank you so much.
So we also want to recognize others today who have marked an important milestone, ranging from 5 years to 40 years. I wonder if any of our 35 and 40-year recipients are here today. We have one out there. And then if all who are marking their sort of 5th year, the 5th and 10th and 15th and 20th, 25th and 30th, if you could all please stand if you're marking those anniversaries of your employment. Part of what makes us strong is our ability to attract people who spend their careers here at Rice. It's also a tradition here that we take a moment of silence to recognize members of our community who have passed away within the past year. So please join me in that moment. Mary, in a minute, is going to come up and talk to you briefly about careers at Rice. It is important that we periodically review how we are organized, the titles we give people, the compensation we give people. We really want this to be a destination. We want people around the entire city of Houston to be saying, boy, I wish I worked at Rice. That really ought to be our goal. And we hope around the country in higher education, people are saying, I wish I worked at Rice. And if there's any person here, I think, who could take credit for a significant slice of that sentiment, it's Mary Cronin, who really has been an extraordinary leader, I think, of human resources. I refer to her as one of 2 people in the campus who keep me safe. If there's a reason I sleep at night, one of them is Mary Cronin, who I know cares about our community, cares that we do things right. So please join me for the last time at a town hall, giving a very special welcome and thanks to Mary Cronin.
Bill from Boston. Thank you. Oh.
You need to click it.
I hate to think about this as my last rodeo. Thank you. You know, when we had breakfast this morning, I was talking to one of our colleagues from Housing and Dining, and we were talking about Rice, and she said to me, Rice helped me raise my family. And I just can't think of anything more extraordinary than being able to talk about your institution and your family in that way. And Rice is that kind of place. You know, it took me 50 years to get here, but when I got here, I was really happy I got here. So thank you very much. Let's get rid of her. But thank you for getting an early picture. I really appreciate that. President Leebron had mentioned that in a couple of minutes he's going to be talking about Rice's new exciting ambitions in the vision for the second century and the second decade. And in order to achieve those ambitions in teaching and research, we're going to need, and we're going to continue to have, the very best staff to help us accomplish those goals. And there will need to be the staff who can evolve as our work evolves, because we all know how much it's evolving all the time. Staff who are committed to high performance and to excellence, and staff who care very, very deeply about Rice. And that means that all of us have to invest in our own performance, but it also means that Rice has to invest in you. So over the next couple of months, you're going to be hearing more about a set of programs that we are calling Careers at Rice. There's going to be a new job structure, which will lend a consistency across campus, and we hope will also provide better information so that supervisors can build with us expectations for our jobs, can guide us in our jobs, and we will be able to see more easily the kinds of skills and abilities that we have to nurture in ourselves, both to do our jobs well and also to prepare ourselves for future jobs. We hope the job structure will help us see that. We'll also be rolling out a pay structure at the same time, and you'll be hearing more about that over the next couple of months. Well, when we think about what these staff are, what are these very best staff that we need so much to help Rice really achieve all of our ambitions? We thought it would be important to put a map together. And what we have tried to do with this map is to kind of describe the key attributes and the values that we think are really very important to help Rice be successful. First of all, to daily act on our values of responsibility, integrity, community, and excellence. And also another set of attributes about what we think it's important for staff to be. We want them to be mission-driven. We want them to be really dedicated to the mission. We want them to have impact on Rice and on the university's success. We want them to lead from wherever they are, and we want them to be entrepreneurial, to be forward-thinking, to take initiative. In short, to kind of be with us on the Rice Mile. And you'll be happy to know that in this next year, we're going to be rolling out a set of voluntary vision benefits so that you can all buy a pair of glasses and see the fine print. But what the fine print is basically kind of a set of indicators and descriptors that we've tried to develop in order to give us all a better sense of what impact looks like, what excellence looks like at Rice. Now, there's another way to really show what excellence and impact and community and leadership, all of these attributes looks like at Rice, and that is to point out the members of our community who actively, day to day, exhibit impact, exhibit excellence, exhibit community. And that we would like to start to showcase their efforts through a new award, which we're calling the Rice Mile Award, and it's going to be available across the campus through nominations of any of our staff who exhibit some of these key attributes on the Rice Mile. And to start that process, we would like to give the first Rice Mile Award today to the Developing World-Class Staff Task Force, who worked with us so successfully as we worked through the development of careers at Rice, especially as we considered the type of staff development that was very important to all of us so that we can achieve our goals. And that group is, and I'd like to ask any of you who are here today, could you just stand up so that we could give you a round of applause? You'll be hearing more about the Rice Smile Award soon. So congratulations to the task force. Thank you very much, President Leebron. Thanks for running this mile with us. And thank you for your support of Rice's staff.
Thank you very, very much, Mary. I'm going to talk briefly about the V2C2. I don't know if you'll remember what that stands for. It's the Vision for the Second Century, Second Decade. But you don't have to remember that anymore. Now you just have to remember V2C2, which is our new strategic plan looking forward. That plan was discussed over the last year. It was then presented initially to the Board of Trustees after lots of discussions with the Board of Trustees at the December meeting of the board, and then we held a special meeting in January of the board for any further discussion. And at that meeting in January, the board formally approved the plan. And then at the March meeting, we had some further conversations about making some early investments in the V2C2. And probably tomorrow, a memo will go out to the campus indicating some of those early investments. And this is a beginning, a chance to make some hard choices across the campus to decide where we can have an immediate impact by making significant investments. The 7 planks, I regard this as a great achievement, pushed hard by Dean Sarah Whiting over there, who insisted 10 was too many, and so we cut it down to 7. And I'd actually like just, I say we have a quad of deans sitting here, and I saw Sarah there, and would all the deans just stand for a moment? They really are sort of the leaders on our campus, and I think at occasions like this, don't get enough appreciation. Is that Kathleen back there? John Hutchinson, and back there, Seiichi Matsuda. I think you're just going to be the 4 musketeers here. But I think that's important because this is not a campus that just has a central leadership. We have schools across the campus. We have special responsibilities with regard to our undergraduates and our graduates. You brought Bruce sitting there for Glasscock School of Continuing Studies. That leadership is really vital as we think about what our strategic goals are. It's not just those goals, but the goals for each of our schools as we think about what progress we as a university can make. And what emerged from our conversation over the last year was 7 goals, not all completely new, different a bit than they were if they were sort of a part of the V2C. And each of them reflect a kind of conscious examination of what we want to achieve as a university. If you haven't taken the chance, I do encourage you to look online, see the more detailed exposition of those goals. But this is really what we are about as a university, really transforming the lives of our undergraduates, building graduate programs that are renowned for their excellence and propel our students into a range of careers at the highest levels of excellence, investing in our extraordinary faculty. And really every day in the news you read something about what our faculty has contributed to the world in understanding and creativity and progress. And I think importantly, expanding access, inclusiveness, and diversity on our campus. We are renowned now as a university with a diverse community. that's not something we can take for granted, but that we really need to invest in every day, elevating our research achievement. I think we're clear, although we're a comparatively small university, I think it's clear, as Edgar Odell Lovett said, there is no upper limit to what we aim to achieve in our impact on the world. And then extending Rice's reach and impact. And last time, of course, when we thought about this, about 13 years ago, what we concluded was the best way to increase our impact on the world was to increase our student body. And as we revisited that question this time, we came to a different set of conclusions, using online education, extending our global presence, activating our alumni network. Those are ways that we could enhance our impact in the world. And last time we thought, you know, Rice, there was this phrase, don't hear it so much anymore, very occasionally, about being behind the hedges. Nobody I talk to in Houston thinks we are behind the hedges anymore. But it's not enough simply for us to engage with the city. We want to be in part of empowering the city of Houston's future. One thing to keep an eye on, there's only so much I can tell you at this point. You may have read that Rice now has full ownership over the Sears property and the Fiesta property, 9.5 acres in Midtown Houston, extraordinary promising location. We intend to use that property in ways that will help empower the city of Houston. And we hope, not just for the benefit of Rice, but we hope bring the entire higher education community together. If you look at that piece of property, if you triangulate where all of these institutions of higher education are in the city of Rice, University of Houston, Houston Community College, Texas Southern, the University of St. Thomas, and you said, where is the central point of all that? It sits in that Art Deco building that was formerly known as Sears. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I want to leave some time for questions, but ultimately we are in an enterprise about the people, the extraordinary young people that we bring to this campus. This Mariam Elizondo, who participated in the Rice Emerging Scholars Program, which is this extraordinary program in which we invite the students, which we really honor those students who came from educationally less privileged backgrounds and say, what is it that you need in addition to be successful at Rice? How can we help you understand the environment at Rice better? And if you look at the STEM retention in science, technology, engineering, and medicine of the students who come into that program, it's substantially enhanced by participating in that program, essentially done as a volunteer activity starting with Rice faculty and staff. And we want that kind of transformation to occur for all of our students. Again, and our graduate students, building renowned graduate students. Of course, on our plan is reconfiguring this building so we don't have light casting on slides so that you can't read them. A number of our departments in the top 25 across the nation. I think it's important to remind ourselves how over the last decade, in many ways, we have been transformed as a university in terms of being a research university, of being involved in graduate education, the increase in doctoral degrees, master's programs across the university. And you see it's across the university, a big increase in humanities doctoral students. It indicates the important role the humanities has in terms of graduate education. But these are increases across the board for our university. And then building extraordinary faculty, of course, Rebecca Richards-Gordon. But here you see just in the last few months some of the achievements of our faculty. Pedro Alvarez, long overdue into the National Academy of Engineering. He's leading, of course, the nano-engineered water treatment effort on our campus. Others, Simon Fisher-Baum with an NSF Career Award. Others award, James Chappell, Ashabali Shrivastava, Air Force Young Investigator. Now this year, we've had almost 21,000 applications. Yvonne, if you could stand. Anybody on the admissions and enrollment staff, would you stand? Please just. They have read and discussed nearly 21,000 applications. They probably know the exact number, 20,898 or something. A little more than that. Last week, those acceptances went out to a much smaller number of very excited people, literally across the world, an extraordinary, diverse group of people. One of the things that we need to continue to invest in is really financial aid. This is a problem today, not just for those from sort of low resource families and poor families at the bottom quintile in terms of earnings. This is a serious problem really across the wider middle class, and we at Rice are going to have to figure out how can we do more to support those students. And one of the priorities that we have set as part of the V2C2 is not just making sure those students can come to Rice, but making sure that every student who comes here has the opportunity to take full advantage of every opportunity that we offer at Rice. It's not just enough to get them there, and that involves an overseas trip, an opportunity to go somewhere or participate in an internship. We want to make sure those students have an opportunity to participate. So this year we've admitted 11% of the applications, and this gives you a little bit of a sense of what they look like, but should shape up to be another extraordinary cast, attempts to expand on the international diversity of our students. We're very proud of our international community here at Rice. They make Rice a very international place, but they haven't come from as many places as we would like, and we're working on expanding that. And then again, you can't see this, but a reflection of the domestic diversity, truly making Rice one of the most diverse places to get an undergraduate education. We're also making progress on the faculty. It's slower. We don't have a quarter of the faculty turnover every year as we do with undergraduate students, but we've had a lot of focus on it, and in percentage terms, we've achieved significant progress in terms of our faculty. We know that's important to our students. We have this extraordinary diversity in our staff. We have this extraordinary diversity in our student body, and we must aspire to have it among our faculty as well. Again, elevating our achievement, I'm not going to go down all this. We've identified 10 priority areas in the V2C2 for university-wide investment. They range from things like the intersection of medicine and engineering, areas like neuroengineering, for example, but also urban studies and cities of the future to involve architecture and engineering and social sciences, and really stretching across the campus. And the study of inequalities and inequities, sometimes what we call disparities. Why is it that we have these inequalities in our society, and how can we go best about addressing those? Those are just a few of the priorities that emerged out of the comprehensive processes of the V2C2. This is not a top-down process. This is through Rice Lift. This is through discussions in the schools. Some of these will be part of school strategies as well. New facilities on teaching through the efforts of Antonio Merlo and the School of Social Sciences, and a lot of work by development folks as well. We're anticipating breaking ground on an exciting new building sometime, I think, around the end of the summer or so. We'll break ground. That's opposite, across the Loop Road from where the Baker Institute for Public Policy is, creating, I think, for our campus an exciting new, what we're calling policy corridor involving the School of Social Sciences, the Baker Institute, and the Jones School, where those schools are having better opportunities to work together across the campus. Mentioned before our online stats, total enrollment, 154,510. And so when I go around the city, and I want you folks to do this for me too, if you ever hear anybody say something like, Rice is too small, I want you to say, what are you talking about? We had 154,000 enrollments last year. And we aim to enhance that. Right, Rob? That's right. Thank you. I don't want to seem like that other president who puts people on the spot suddenly. But the point is, we intend to maintain a relatively small student environment on campus here. That's part of who we are and our community. That doesn't need to be a constraint on the reach and impact of our university. When you look at the talent that people have here, we can export that talent to the world. A total enrollment of 2.5 million to date. That's compared to something, I don't know the exact figure, but let's say something like 75,000 total enrollments on the Rice campus through our entire history. And then, as I mentioned, engaging Houston Kinder Institute, of course, relationships with the Texas Medical Center, Boniek Institute addressing religious tolerance, and then a whole number of projects across the university. If you look at what our university contributes to K-12 success across our city, whether it's the research Ruth Lopez-Turley is doing through HERC and the School of Social Sciences, or inviting people to music programs on our campus, the camps that we run on the campus, just inviting schools across our city and having the students come on the campus and an opportunity to see what it would mean for them to go to college. This is a university with an impact on that. We ought to be proud of it, and it's part of our plan. So that's a lot. That's a very brief. In some ways, it's a lot to remember. I was out in California thinking, these folks were not actually going to go away remembering 7 goals or planks. And so I thought I'd try to reduce it just to 3 words of what I think these ambitions are about. I think they are about excellence, being truly the best we can be. We've seen that exemplified today. Some of the staff we have honored. I know so many of you every single day come to campus. Don't just ask, how can I get my job done? But ask, how can I make this better? How can I improve this university? And I think more than ever, the impact on our campus. This is the evolving nature of universities. At one time, of course, universities founded in the Middle Ages and really the monastic ecclesiastical tradition to sit behind their walls. Those aren't the universities of today. The great universities are the universities that are thinking, how can they improve that world around them? And then I think, and this really goes back to what Mary said, it's about opportunity. It's about taking advantage of all of this kind of ability that we have in our campus, creating extraordinary opportunities for young people, for our students, creating opportunities for the research and teaching impact of our faculty and their influence across the country and the world, and creating opportunities for our staff and our career advancement. So I just want to end, happy to take some questions, but I really want to end by thanking all of you for what you do every single day to make Rice among the very best universities in the world. Thank you all very, very much.